Today we are going to discuss a very interesting use case, that is on how to build a global list of NBFC prospect data. Say for example, you are doing market research for your company and you have been given the task to prepare a list of all NBFCs that are there in the Middle East like UAE, Saudi Arabia, in APAC region like Singapore, Vietnam, Japan, or in Africa. How would you actually go about building that list? Consider that these are entities in different regions, regulated by different authorities. First thing what you would obviously do is you would either search on Google or any other database to actually go and search directly, or you could scrape business directories. But what we have identified is that there is a much better approach if you want the data to be more reliable. And in this video, I am going to show you exactly how to build a global NBFC database using regulatory websites, Octoparse and Clay. So let's quickly get into it. Let us first understand the process that we'll be following. So here is a quick flow diagram that explains what we'll actually be starting with. The very first step is to find out different regulatory bodies in different region, and for that we can use Google to help us out with. Once say for example you have found these regulatory bodies across different regions, what you can then do is that you can see if there is any list provided on their websites. So for an example, we have over here the licensing of UAE NBFCs, wherein if you can see I have the exact list of banks and financial institutions based out of the UAE. Similarly, I have that entire list for Singapore as a region and the same list for South Africa as a region. So that is my step 1. Now based on this, what I am going to actually check is how is the format of these two platforms, right? Whether am I getting a PDF that can be downloaded, or is it say an online directory that looks like this. And based on that, I'll be defining that, okay, how am I going to get that data consolidated into a proper Google Sheet or onto my CRM. If it is PDF, then I can use a PDF to Excel or a PDF to, table converter and then use it. Or if it is an online directory, then I can go to Octoparse and scrape that data. Now, once I am consolidated all of that data, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with enriching certain data points. Like for example, I would want their website. I would want to figure out that who are the right people in those companies to reach out to. So that's exactly what we are looking at. In case if we have the websites, then it becomes an easier task, because then we can go to a platform like Clay to simply use that as an identifier and then find the relevant people in those companies to reach out to. In case if we are not able to do that, then we follow manual approach where we will go to Sales Navigator and scrape the data. So let's quickly see how does this process work. So right here, if you can see, I have 3 directories that are open. I have for UAE, wherein I have an entire list of banks and NBFCs. At the same time, I can even download this as a full PDF. The downloaded PDF looks something like this, where I have that entire data. So what I have done in order to organize this data much better and at the same time find the websites of these companies, these NBFCs, I have directly used Claude, where I have given Claude the quick instruction to filter out only and only non-banking financial institutions. And as a second task, find the websites of those companies. So what Claude has done, it has given me that entire output that, okay, these are the companies that are there in that particular space and this is how it looks like. So when I actually open this, I'll be able to see that what is the sort of an output that I'm able to get. So this is how that entire output looks like, wherein say for the Middle East region, I have the institution name and I have the websites wherever it has been able to find. Second approach is, say for example, if I have the data in a format like this, that is in the format of a directory. So what do I do in this case is very simple. I can go to Octoparse, I can copy this particular link, I can go to Octoparse, I can paste this link over here and I can start by building a workflow to scrape the data from there. Now the interesting thing in such directories is that when you actually go on to open them, okay, there is a sub page that is there where you will find more details about the company. And over here, the format that is there, we even can find out any key personnel that is there, any key contact that is there as part of that organization whom we can directly approach. In terms of their classification, if say the license type is capital market services, I can get the subcategory as well. So that is the exact sort of flow that we have built over here on Octoparse. Now, when we actually start by running this, okay, what's going to happen is we'll get all the data that was there on the front page as well as the data that was there on the secondary page. So if you can see, we have started running Octoparse, and this is how first it is going onto the main page. It is scraping the data of these institutions, and that will get logged over here in a simple column format, as we can see right here. So now it has done for this one particular company, then it goes to their sub page, does it for other details that we want, and continues that for multiple such profiles. The end output of this looks something like this, wherein I actually have the entire data along with the key contact in that company. Now I know if this is the key contact wherever it is available, I can actually then end up finding their LinkedIn profiles and then approaching them if they are a relevant audience. So now what we have done is that we have seen that how can we compile and create a complete prospect list. One more region, that is for South Africa. Over here also what they have done is they have simply classified and given a PDF that we can download and we can use, that has the exact company names listed along with the registered address. So that data also looks something like this. Now say we have our list of NBFCs consolidated. The next step comes in is to find the relevant people in those companies. So let us take the case which is the most easiest, which is the APAC data, that where we also have the key contact that we can find. So what we have done is we have simply taken we have downloaded the CSV of this. We have gone on to Clay, we have imported it, and we have used an AI agent that finds first the LinkedIn profiles of the people that are mentioned. So now I have the LinkedIn profiles of these people, and I can see that okay, whether they are the CEO or what is their exact position. A second approach to this. Now if you see, we already have the websites of certain companies, and now what we can do is that we can just simply go to the overview, and right here we can find people in those companies, and as an input parameter we can simply mention the website of these companies. And once we have done that, what we will be able to do is we will be able to find the exact relevant people in those companies that we can filter based on designations as well. So right here now, since this is the APAC region, then I'll just simply filter the location by APAC, and I'll have all of those profiles in these NBFCs that are mentioned or that are in that particular region. So if you can see, I have the founder, CEO, the director. All I now need to do is just filter based on the job title. It can be either based on the seniority, wherein I would want to target say C-suite, VP or director level folks, and I'll have my exact data available over here. So this is one approach to go about. The second approach is, say for example, you don't have the name of the person in case of Middle East data, where we just have the websites. So what we can do is that we can simply filter the data, remove the data where say we don't have the websites, and copy these website links, again go back to Clay, and this time in Clay, when we are actually finding people, what we are going to do is that we are going to use the company identifiers and just mention those websites over here. Once we do that, then again we will be able to get the people. So that is the approach that we are going to follow in case if we have the websites. But now consider a scenario like this data where we have for Africa, where we don't have the websites. Then what do we have to do is that we simply have to say copy that company name, go on to LinkedIn Sales Navigator and search for that company over here. Now when I actually start with searching about that company, I find that there is this company over here, which is exactly the one that is listed as an NBFC in my list, and then I can find relevant people to approach in those companies. Like if I want to target their executive director, or if I want to find some other person in their company to approach, I can shortlist their profile, save to a lead list, and then scrape that data and then approach them. So these are two approaches in which you can actually use your NBFC data that you have collected right from the source, find relevant people to approach, and that's how you build a global NBFC data. If you found this use case interesting, then please do like and subscribe to the channel, and we even have a Slack community where we constantly share more of these use cases. I'm sharing the link in the comments below. If you are interested, then please do join that as well. Thank you so much for watching this one.